I think the most lovable comedian of our era is Katt Williams. I said, I don't give a fuck how much crack y'all think this nigga smoke. I think he's the most right.
Son. Round here, if it smell funny, onions getting peeled. Round here, if it smell funny, get your onion peeled. Round here. You know this one thing I can't say. You know this one thing I can't say. You know this one thing I can't. You know this one thing I can't. You know this one thing. You know this one thing. Ah! Do you ever have one of those? I don't know. Do you ever have one of those days that you ask yourself, what the hell is going on? Nothing is working right. Nothing is going in my favor. Every time I turn around, I'm hitting a wall. I can't think. Have you ever had one of those moments? And what do you do? What do you do? What do you do when you having a shitty day? Okay. First off, what contributes to you having a bad day? Here's what I think contributes to you having a bad day. Fucking with fucked up people. Being around the wrong energy all the time will wear you out. Trying to make something right that you know is wrong. Trying to appease situations when you should be not giving a fuck. Trying to understand things that aren't to be understood. When do you get to the point where you don't give two fucks? When do you get to the point where, what is it? Miles, is it like 2 fucks or 2 shits? What's the phrase people say? 2 fucks. When did you get to the point where you don't give 2 fucks? And it feels like the people that don't give 2 fucks are the most peaceful people. Top 2 people I know, and I realized last week, that don't give 2 fucks. That lady from Pakistan smoking Newports in Pakistan, ordering French fries with extra salt, pointing at men, just telling them to shut up and listen. She don't give 2 fucks, and people fell in love with her. That's one person don't give 2 fucks. Another person that clearly doesn't give 2 fucks, and I don't want to use this opportunity, I don't want to make this a political platform or anything like that. I don't give a fuck left, right, or whatever. But Donald Trump don't give 2 fucks. If he had 1 fuck to give away, he would give away and take 1 back to not give a fuck again. The confidence, and not saying a fan of him, whatever, but it is something that's very intriguing about a person that don't give a fuck, that will say anything. President of the United States, after one of the biggest airplane crashes in the last 25 years, a reporter asked him, President Trump, do you plan on going down to the crash site? And he looked her right in the face and said, what? What am I going to swim? That's don't give 2 fucks. Out of everything that's going on in the world, in Palestine, just in life in this country, he signed an executive order to bring back a law that Biden put into place where plastic straws were illegal. That made top news on Fox. The straws. Clearly, don't give 2 fucks. I think that I'm going to have to get to a point. There's a phrase, no more Mr. Nice Guy. I'm tired of being nice. And I think this probably comes with old age. You start not giving a fuck. You get to the age where you want peace and you just don't want to give a fuck. That's where I am. I don't want to give a fuck. No more Mr. Nice Guy. I think when people start taking that on, when people start to get to the point where they don't care about what a person thinks and you just got to deal with it, I think then that's when you grow as a person. I want to see if I can get someone to chime in on not giving 2 fucks. Nope, they don't want to answer their phone.
Yo.
What's up, Mike? This is Donnell, and I got to let you know, but according to law, I have to let you know that I am recording. I'm in the middle of my podcast right now. And what I'm talking about is when you get to a certain age of not giving a fuck, or when you don't want to be Mr. Nice Guy anymore. You have been in a lot of platforms. You go back, you beef with people. How important is it to not give a fuck? And do you think that you become a stronger person by not giving a fuck about what people think of you?
Of course, man. We're comedians. We are not supposed to give a fuck. You know, we're supposed to speak our mind and speak whatever it is that we want to talk about. You know, and that's why I'm in my career. I don't give a fuck about nothing. I don't care about Hollywood. I don't care about following no rules. I'm a comic. That's the gift God gave me to speak my mind and make a joke about any and everything that I want to.
Have you ever been in a situation where you said something and you regretted it or took it back? Because I've seen you go at people, and not one time do I ever see you apologize or back down. How you feel about that?
Yeah, I don't apologize. I mean, you know, sometimes I would say something, and it probably sound worse than it is, and then I'll listen to it, and I'll be like, maybe it didn't come off the way I meant it, but it's not too much different than what I really meant, you know. Just like the whole thing with Katt. Me and Katt started. I guess I had beef with Katt because something I said. But
you said you was gonna mop. You said you was gonna mop his little motherfucking Prince figure ass up. That's what you did. Did you say that? You didn't say that.
No, that's what I said.
All right, what you say?
All right, this is how me and Katt beef started, okay? And it didn't even supposed to be a beef. I thought I was giving this nigga a compliment,
right?
But it came off wrong. Sometimes we say things and it come off the wrong way, and you let me know whether you think this is an insult or not, okay?
Okay.
I did Drink Champ interview. We're talking about comedians, right? And I said, I think the most lovable comedian of our era is Katt Williams. I said, I don't give a fuck how much crack y'all think this nigga smoke. I think he's the most right.
Son. Go ahead.
I said, I don't care how much crack y'all think the nigga smoke. Katt is the most lovable person in the world. We will always love him. He will always come back. You know, and I thought I was giving this nigga a compliment. Like, I don't give a fuck what y'all think about this nigga. This nigga is the dopest nigga, and people gonna always love him and always forgive him.
Mike, I understand that, and you're pointing out something that people would consider to be the obvious. You know what I'm saying? And I've seen Katt on certain platforms, and like people have kind of like try to put it in a situation that he might have dabbled in something, right? And it was things that's going in his life that people would say that's got to be contributed to doing some type of hard drug. But you know, black people, you can't put crack and coke on motherfuckers. You can put everything on it. It's the crack, son. It's the crack.
I know.
I'm just saying, it's the crack. Motherfuckers could do heroin. They could do anything. But crack, once you get once crack in the hat, used to do smack. Once you put the crack in there, it goes sideways. But I understand.
And that's
and he had a beef with you.
But you know, but deep in my heart, it wasn't out of malice.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
No,
it was not out of malice at all. It was just it was more out of a joke, at the same time complimenting this nigga.
Right.
You know, but it just came up, it just sounded bad. Something like that, if you say, Mike, have you ever regretted something the way I said something, right, that was about it, because I'm not the type that I won't start shit on nobody unless they start shit with me.
Right.
Yes, I am.
Right.
But it's because comedy is people don't understand, this is the hardest thing to do. So for us as a group to make it in this business over 25 years of surviving and making millions of dollars and feeding our family off this thing called telling jokes,
right,
and all this shit we went through. Like, we are not like the new era of comedians with the social media guys. We had to do competition. We had to go audition. We had to go compete to get on Def Jam. We had to do all kinds of shit to get where we are. So just knowing all the struggles that we went through, that's enough for me.
Yeah, Mike, I hear what you're saying,
comedian.
but you can't say a nigga was smoking crack, son. Crack.
Yeah, but I didn't mean it.
Yeah,
I was just trying to be funny. Because the public was thinking that.
I mean,
you know what I mean? That's why I said.
If people really took a real look at when some of the toughest times in, I say, Katt's career, whatever, he's on top now. He's always been on top. He could come, he disappear. But it was certain things like getting in a school fight with a little kid. It was certain things. You can look at the pictures like something is off. Now, we don't want to, hopefully we want to think that's not the case, but clearly you could see something is off. And I think that you was just speaking to that and showing them love at the same time. But little motherfuckers that's 4'2" and ever, they always have Napoleon complex. But going back to what you said, Mike, and I say this, I've been knowing you for over 30 years, and I've shared this story. You know this story, but it's interesting because I've seen, like, when you first started, you started about around the time that Kevin Hart started, right? And
Kev came maybe 2 years after me.
After you? But I'll say, I'll put it like that. But you
me.
came up in that time where the chitlin circuit, the black circuit was really, really, really strong.
Yes.
With the Def Jam, and you was popping, son. And you was popping. And I would say, I was on the Def Comedy Jam. A lot of people don't know this story. I don't think I would have been on Def Comedy Jam if they would have aired your. I would have got bumped.
I actually just said that. I said that in Vlad's interview last week.
Yo, people don't.
I said, Donnell owe me. This nigga, he lucky I pulled that dick out.
Yo, wait a minute, pause. You can't say it like that. They gotta have a backstory. You can't just say I pulled that dick out. Now with this diddler stuff coming on, what happened was I didn't know I'm telling you, when I was there. I watched your set, and anybody in that room, you could tell when somebody was about to be popping. I think that you would have been on the level of Bernie Mac the same way Bernie Mac, Chris Tucker, and them, because you fucking slayed this room. But you got greedy, son. You got greedy, son. You did not leave. What he did was he did this routine, completely smashed the room, and already got a standing ovation. The motherfucker got gritty and said, you know what they say, black, we have a big dick, or something you said.
I said in Africa, they talk about we have disease. I said, we ain't got no disease in Africa. The only disease we have is called big dickness. And I pulled this big fake dick out.
And it was nice. I was like, it ripped the room. But at that time, Def Jam, they was like they just going crazy with it. And I think that they used you as an example of trying to tone it down. But and when you do Def Comedy Jam, it's 4 or 5 people that tape. One person is always going to get cut. I had a decent set. I'm not saying it was like a fire set. It was a joke that stuck with people forever. But I was young, I was green, and I was going to get bumped. And if it wasn't for you pulling out that motherfucking massive dick, people wouldn't have never seen me on Def Comedy Jam. So I do owe you one for that. How do you think?
How much you owe me, guys?
I don't know. I ain't gonna pay you shit. You rich motherfucker. You got school and shit. All right, Mike. I got a question. You done a lot of stuff, and I mean, you crack a lot of jokes. You go hard, whatever. But I've noticed something that's been really passionate with you, and that's the love of your country, to the extent of it. You go there probably twice a month. Also, putting your money where your mouth is, investing in school. You got a school. You built a school before Dr. Umar. How did that? Do you consider that one of your biggest accomplishments in this business?
Oh yeah, that's definitely my biggest accomplishment, man. When I did that school, I felt complete. I said, it don't matter what happens in this whole world, I've done it. You know, I went back to where I came from and gave back out of my pocket with no help. You know, I took my money, built a whole freaking mission, a school, and usually something like that you don't build in villages. You know, people go and build stuff. It's like little. I built a whole masterpiece, you know, and giving kids free education. Because, you know, growing up and when I was there as a kid, you can't afford school, you don't go to school. Right. You know, you can't afford books, you can't afford uniform, you don't go. So it's probably half the population in Africa are poor kids, you know, and a lot of them, 30% of them don't go to school, you know. So I'm like, you know, even if I can help 200-300 kids, hey man, that's a start. You know what I'm saying? Right. So it's the biggest accomplishment I've ever done. It makes me feel like a whole king. I don't give a fuck whatever happens anymore. I could not tell another fucking joke or do another movie or TV show. It won't matter to me, because when I did that, I had the best feeling on earth, more than somebody's calling me and like, hey, Mike, we have $20 million out for you to do a movie. I'm like, what I did here and the smile I put on those kids' faces, was priceless.
Do you think that's contribute to what you like? You were born in Africa, right? You moved here, right?
I moved here. I moved to the States as a teenager. You know, I moved here as a teenager, and you know, and my goal, comedy was not in the plan. I didn't know nothing about it. My mom was an evangelist. I mean, she still is, but she's 82 years old, so she's more like sitting down.
Right.
But my mom's an evangelist. She traveled the world preaching the gospel, and she got an invitation from her church to come here. And then, you know, she brought me and my younger sister, you know, and she told us, you know, Mike, this is the promised land. And one day I'm gonna get you and I'm gonna get everybody here. Meaning, like, my mom had at that point had 8 kids. She said, I'm gonna get everybody here little by little, because when you're trying to come to America, America has 2 questions to ask you. When you coming and when you going to fuck back. America want to make sure that you're going to go back.
Right.
Go back where the fuck you came from, right? If the America feels like you're not going to go back, they're not going to give you a visa to come here. They got to know for a fact that you're leaving something behind. Right. Whether it's your other kids, whether it's a husband, whether it's $1 million, whether it's a hell of a job, you have to have proof that America has to have proof, know for a fact your black ass is going to go back to where you came from. You know, so my mother came, she actually left her husband back there, you know, and left other kids back there.
Wait a minute. How many kids did she have when she left her husband?
Well, before, my mother had 7 kids with my dad, and then my mother left my dad with 7 kids and then remarried a pastor, you know, and she just had 1 kid with that pastor.
Your mother left. God damn, you got to be gangster to leave somebody after having 7 kids with him. What the fuck was he doing?
My mother gave her life to Christ, and she said my dad wasn't trying to live that holy life. So she said, she took us away. Like, I'm going to change my mom changed our name to Blackson. I was Blackson since I was 3 years old. It's not a birth name. She changed our name to Blackson, meaning son of a black man. So just so my dad don't go looking for us.
God damn, she's smart, sir. Yo, do you think? And
it wasn't no internet back then. You don't even find niggas in a fucking newspaper.
You had to yell about. Do you think that I noticed, like, when I first started, people always say they supportive of what you're doing, but they don't really see what it is until it starts materializing as far as money with or anything. Do you remember a moment that you felt your mother was like extremely proud of your accomplishment or what you were doing?
I mean, that has to been a recent, because, you know, my mom was the African mom first. She was African. You know, she never understood or cared about entertainment. You know, I had a job. I mean, I've had plenty of jobs. The last job I clocked in at was a job I worked from 1996 to 2002. I worked part-time, working for the airlines, putting food on a plane, but I worked directly for the airline. So because I worked directly for the airline, I had my airline benefits, which is free flights for me, my mother, my wife, my kids, and like probably 10 buddy passes along with that. Right. So because of that, when the job let me go, it let me go to the point where I wasn't really obviously taking it too serious, because the job came with medical benefits, and, you know, comedy, that other shit don't come with that. It don't come with that unless you're already a SAG member making a lot of money acting and doing all that stuff. Right. So the only medical benefit I had was through my job. So trust me, I wanted to keep that job as long as I could. But eventually the job had to let me go. When the job let me go, my mom wanted me to go find another airline job because I done fucked up a free flights. Right. She's pissed about the free flights. I'm like, Mom, relax, okay? You know, at that point, in 2002, I wasn't making no real money. I was probably maybe making $150,000 a year telling jokes. It wasn't much. That's nothing. You know what I mean? And then,
boy, some people like, what are you talking? Yo,
compared to what I'm doing now. Compared to what I'm doing now. It was a lot there. In 2002, I mean, that was probably decent money. Maybe, you know what? 150 might be a little exaggerating. I think if I think of because I used to actually, it was before they started giving us 1099 for every little thing we did. So I remember I used to keep I did my own bookkeeping, and I remember I used to write everything down on a piece of paper, every month of what I did. And if I'm recalling, maybe I'm a little exaggerating, maybe it was more like $90,000 to $100,000.
Right.
I remember now because the only reason why I remember because when I had these twin boys by my ex, who my boys are now 18 years old, be 18 next month.
Right.
When I had these kids by my ex, I remember her stealing that paperwork and taking it with her so she would take me to court for child support. And I remember because they had nothing on record. You can't put in my social security number and they tell you I'm making $90,000 a year.
Right.
The only thing she had was that paperwork, and that paperwork was enough for me to pay her $3,000 a month, and I was pissed at that time. About paying $3,000 a month.
Yeah, I can imagine.
You know what I mean? So, and I remember it was like around $90-something thousand a year. So, make a long story short, I told my mom, I said, Mom, don't worry. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm listening.
Okay, I said, Mom, don't worry. I'm going to, very soon you'll get a confirmed seat. You don't have to fly standby because that's what happened. That's what happened when you fly with an employee. You
have to stand by.
You stand by. If there's a seat on the plane, you get on the plane. But she was pissed because my mom used to just get up and fly to Italy to go have a pizza. She'll fly to France to have a French fry. She'll fly to fucking, whatever the food sounded like, she went to that country to eat it because she flew for absolutely almost nothing.
Awesome.
So, I think I'm trying to think when it is that she said to herself, like, you know what, I think my son has made it. And that probably had to do with when I built the school. So when I built the school, my mom loved the idea of me building the school. She said, it's a brilliant idea. But my mom was thinking, I'm building a school and I'm about to, charge school fees and make a whole lot of money, right?
She thinking you hustling.
She think I'm about to, we about to get paid.
Right.
She gave me that, I built the school on her land. Like she gave me that land. It was a land where her mother left her, where there's like an old house on the land. And of course I had to tear all that shit down and then built the school. So when I done building the school, I was like, okay, Mom, the school's done. She said, okay, good. I said, it's gonna be free, Mom.
She was like, hold up. She's like, what are you talking about?
Hold up, nigga. I was like, hold up, my mom. At that, and I think at that moment she realized, for my son to build the school and fund it out of his pocket 100% every month, I think my son had made it. And I'm like, Mom, you want about? I'm like, in fact, my mom's allowance every month is what this whole school costs me.
Right.
It's more than what the school costs me every month. I'm like, just to keep her chill, because I'm like, at the same time, I'm not sure they had abortion back in the 70s or not, but you could have easily got rid of my ass. So you know what? Because you decided to keep me, Mom, boom, here's some money every month. You good. Don't worry about it. This is your allowance. You're gonna get every month. Every time I come home, because usually I go home every other month. So when I go, I leave 2 months of mother support, child support, mom support.
I feel you. I retired I retired my mother like 15 years ago. I was like, you'll never have to work again.
Yeah, same time. I retired her around about 15 years or so ago. But it just, the money became more as of in the last 5 years because I started to make some more money. So I just put on like a nice allowance every month. That's, like I say, she cost me more than the damn school.
Yo, but see, a lot of people, I don't know if a lot of people know this. I know you've been on multiple platforms. What people notice of you, like, you don't give a fuck, you're a roaster motherfucker, and then not to dig into your personal life, but you are probably one of the most transparent, honest people when it comes to relationship. How do you feel being just straight up with somebody and you telling them, this is who I am, this is how I'm going to be, if you can move according with that, or you just leave? How do you have the confidence to fucking do that?
Well, it's something you have to do at the beginning of a relationship. You can't just pop up and show a nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You gotta like,
ta-da! Bitch, go ahead.
It's something you have to do at the beginning of the relationship. You have to do this as soon as you meet this person, or as soon as this person seems like they're ready to get serious with you. You be like, listen, because my last relationship, when I was, the normal relationship was, about, I don't know, 7 years ago. And when like I say in interviews, man, I've never been faithful a day in my life. Every woman I've dated or married to, I've always cheated. and it took me a while to be honest with myself. And when I had that last breakup about 7 years ago, is when I realized that I just cannot be with one woman. I'm sorry.
Right.
It's not in my gene. It's not in my blood. I don't know how to do it. So from here on, if anybody, I'm either going to stay single and do what the hell I want to do, or if somebody decides, or if I decide, I met somebody special and I think this person is the one and she's going to have my back and make sure my money is straight, she will care about me and make sure my kids, and when I find that person, I'm going to be straight up honest with them. Like, hey, if you want to be in a relationship with me, this is what it's going to come with. I love you and I this, but I just can't be with one woman. So, I might dip and dab here and there, but I'll keep you posted on who I'm fucking.
So when you dip and dab, is it completely the physical attraction toward that person, or is it a mental connection, or could it be both? Do you can see a bad bitch and you want to get at her, all right?
Well,
go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Well, with me, I don't like I'm not big on too many strangers. I like to just keep a few good ones. And just stick with them, and that's I guess one of the biggest issue that I have with my lady is that she rather have you go bang a stranger and keep it moving than just keeping girls around that having hope that one day they are going to be next or going to try to knock her off and take her spot.
Right.
And I understand that. Me, on the other hand, it's grimy out here. I would hate to go and meet some new chick, fall asleep, and then this bitch rob me and put some shit in my drink,
right,
and yada yada. And I wake up, my dick is gone, and what I mean? My money's gone, my jewelry's gone.
Yeah,
no dating.
Well,
but yeah, because of that,
so
because of that, I try to just keep a few good ones around.
Do they have to make the approval of your? God damn, this seems weird. I'm nervous even talking about it. Do they have to be approved by your?
She wants to be, but she, me personally, like I, as long as I approve of it.
I don't know why. When you have this conversation, I don't understand why people don't think that that's a realistic thought from a man.
It's very realistic. Here's the reason why it's realistic. We're not average guys.
Right.
We are not an average guy. Women love honesty. If you're honest with a woman, it turns her on. And you might not never know. You might have an undercover freak you never knew about. She might be like, well, can they just join us sometimes? Whatever, who knows? But whatever it is, women love honesty. Men been lying for 300 years. If you try one honest thing, you'll be surprised how many women will go for it. On top of that, we're not average. We are millionaires. And we are influencers, and people look up to us. We're not the average person, so we should not be living an average life.
Yeah, but then what happens when I know you get this all the time. Basically, Mike gets to do whatever he wants to do, and I know you've heard this a million times. And women will always make this argument. Yeah, but what if we want to do it too? How do you feel on that end of it? It don't work.
If you want to do it too, then we gotta go. Then I can't call you my woman.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, here's my thing. If we want to do it too, then this nigga got to take care of you just as he got to go half on everything.
Nigga, I remember one time, because, motherfuckers love to be able to say, some people like, oh, I took this nigga girl, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what some people get off on that, and then it happens. I've done it, and it probably it's happened to me. But I'm like this. When a motherfucker I'm like, take the whole bitch. Don't take just the pussy. Take everything with it. Yeah. Don't just take that.
The bills that come with it.
Yeah. Take that, the headache, the bills, and everything. Take everything. Because if you're just going to take that part, I could pay for that, but just take it. Be gone. I'm telling you, I started because I was like somebody that don't give a fuck. But there's a side of Mike that people understand. Because everybody think that it's always happy go lucky. Somebody asked me this question. Bobby Lee asked me this the other day. He said, Donnell, do you ever get depressed? And I was like, I don't think black people, we don't get depressed. We'll be like, I'm a little fucked up right now. Have you ever dealt with, there was a time in your life where you just felt like you maybe didn't have any direction, you didn't know what's going to happen next, or you just felt in a mode where you was depressed about things? I say when people look at us It's like that Smokey Robinson song. People say I'm the life of the party because I tell a joke or two, but take a good look at myself. And we deal with mental stuff different. Have you ever had a point in your career where you felt like you was losing it, or you was depressed, or you didn't know if this was what you was, if you were going to stick to this or not?
Nah, oh no. No, not at all. There's a reason why, because, I told you what I came from. I mean, I recently went back home and looked at where I lived. Look, I came from absolutely nothing. Even when I came to America, when I got to America, I was just happy to be in America, right? I was happy to be in America, and I knew like millions of people were back home would do anything to be in my place. Even though we lived in people's homes and lived in their basements, when they flushed the toilet, we smelled everything. Then from there, we lived in a shelter home where we had nothing. We had to wear hand-me-downs and eat with a bunch of old people that we didn't know, and eat oatmeal for breakfast and a bunch of nasty food.
So y'all was Africa.
Nigga, yes, I was a poor African that came here and had and I slowly just, went from like nothing to like, selling candies as a teenager to help my mother pay bills, to Domino's Pizza, to graduate high school, my career just gradually went up to where I am now, sitting in the penthouse, driving a Rolls Royce Colony and a bunch of money in the bank, and like homes everywhere. Nothing. I'm not on no suicide watch. I never will be. Can nothing depress me, because I slowly got everything in the right way.
Yeah,
I've got everything right with nothing. I never compromised myself. I never, did nothing for no money. Everything I did it my way and on my own.
I can contest to the work that you put in to get where you are. This is what people understand. I've said this to people. They always like, what's advice or whatever. And the only thing I say with this business, I say, if you can learn how to be happy being broke or with the minimal amount of things, you can make it in this business. Because the majority of this, most of the time, you're not going to have anything. But if you know that you could survive off the bare minimum, but you know that there's something in the future, you know where you're going to go, you'll do good. You'll be good at this business. And if someone asks you the same question I asked you, I feel the same way. Like for what we do, Mike, there is really nothing for us to be upset about. For us, whether we do another film, another television show, the fact that we could put our names on a marquee and make 7 figures, just tap it into your God-given talent. How could you ever be mad at that? You can't.
Exactly. Nope.
Dog,
it's so crazy. Like now, it's like, you look at somebody like, damn, how am I gonna get some money? I said, if I want some money, I just make a phone call and go tell some jokes.
Right, that's
it's
it.
Just that simple. Like if I looked at my schedule, like, you know what, I need in April, I need like $100,000. Okay, hey, call up this improv, call this up,
right?
Set it, do a bunch of one-nighter Thursday nights. Let me hit a bunch of them, and I would get the money that I'm looking for.
And then
the money just a phone call away.
And then the thing is, what you've built that. You know what I'm saying? And this is like, this is what people don't understand. You and I share some similarities in regard to, every so often we'll get a movie role or something. You know what I mean? Or something that is, like if what the kids say, keep you relevant, whatever. But this is from years and years and years of being in the trenches. This is from years of going to these clubs and establishing that presence on the road, not just in front of a small screen of TV. Because the roles you play, the stuff I play, that with those things ain't enough money to sustain the lifestyle that we want.
Right.
Your biggest career accomplishment.
My biggest, man. I think, of course, the movie Next Friday definitely gave me my name and made me, famous worldwide. I think that was my, biggest was, Next Friday definitely made the African guy, the African mother sucker, the African king of comedy. Next Friday would probably be my biggest accomplishment.
That's dope.
I got to give it to Next Friday. Because right now I think of like, okay, I got a chance to work with Eddie Murphy, who is probably my idol,
wow.
In Coming to America 2, a sequel to my favorite movie in the world. that was a great feeling, but like next Friday, when I did next Friday and it came out in theaters where I couldn't walk the streets and every black person knew who I was and they didn't even know my name, but they just knew the African guy from Next Friday. Well, that was enough to take me from $500 a show to $2,500 a show, so that was probably my biggest life-changing moment.
What do you see yourself? And we could do stand-up. Somebody asked me once, they said, Donnell, when do you plan on retiring? I said, comedians, we don't retire, we just die. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, yo, he was just on stage, but do you see retirement? And if so, what does that look like for you?
I mean, and I've been thinking about it a lot, about what is retirement, when do I stop, when do I do this? We are 30 years into this. We're doing this over 30 years, and nobody works past 30 years.
Right.
I don't think, there's no, because maybe a doctor, even with that, I mean, do he really go to work every day? Because mind you, to be a full doctor, right? To be a full doctor, by the time you're done school here and there, you probably gonna get your doctor at 30 years old.
Right.
But after all the education you need to be a real doctor, you're 30 by the time you're a doctor. So 30 years later, you're 60 years old. 60 years old, you can still be a doctor. I guess that's cool. I guess maybe a doctor, you go to 40 years old, whatever. Right. But, with comedy, trust me, I thought about it. I thought about retirement and all of that stuff. And I said to myself, when is retirement? We don't retire. The only thing I could say we'll probably do is slow down.
Right.
When I moved to LA in 2012, I want to say about 13 years ago, I was on a paper chase. I needed money, and from 10 years, from 2013 on to now, I went on my paper chase, got pretty much what I needed, Right. And then I said to myself, how much money do I need in the bank to say to myself, like, I could completely slow down. When I mean slow down, meaning like I want to work maybe once a month. Right. Because we enjoy this comedy so much that we love the stage. Let me tell you something. And since I won the Super Bowl, since I landed yesterday, what did I do? Run to the comedy club.
You know what?
I was like I'll crack.
I was gonna say that, and then we both had the position where we could literally just go out for the money grab, to go get the money. Like the other day, I was at Chocolate Sunday, just seeing you there. You know what I'm saying? Just seeing you. If certain amount of money, certain amount of fame, whatever, just to see you, do you still feel the competitiveness, and are you still as passionate about it as when you first started?
But yes, because you're doing comedy. I mean, we get better with age.
Right.
We are wiser, and I want to think back to like, when I thought was my funniest moments, or when did I think I was funnier than I am now, and don't get it wrong, as the years go by, do we get more brilliant? I think we get smarter, even though I was, because I'm thinking back to when I was like, I'll go to the Improv in Houston and sell out 12 shows, right, and go to DC Improv and sell out 11 shows. And I mean, that was probably, I don't know, between 2015 and 2018, I did that. Right. And then so when I made so much money, then I get kind of lazy at 2020 and 21, probably a little lazy. And then when pandemic came and kind of scared us, as if I thought comedy was over with.
Nigga, I was selling candles and smudge sticks and everything, son.
I wasn't selling no damn candles. I just pretty much was looking at the bank like, okay, this is how much money I have left. If I spend $20,000 a year, I could last another 30 years, and then when I'll die.
Yeah, but then even I understand what you're saying that, and like when I say what I'm telling you, what the pandemic did for me, it made me think of being more on the entrepreneur side of it. I'm like, you gotta ask yourself, what if this doesn't exist anymore? What would you do? I was selling lotion. I just felt like I needed to, because people like, you got money, but nobody want to see money leave and nothing come in. You know what I'm saying? Like seeing it keep going and nothing come in. And I had to, the lotion thing was funny. I did fucking $45,000 in lotion sales in 3 days. Niggas needed lotion, son. But it was bad business. I was working with one of your people, one of your African boys, and I was like, boy, they got me. That settlement didn't look right. But I was like this, I am a brand. I can do stuff, and I could think outside the box with that. Anything, and I'm going to let you go. I appreciate taking a call. Anything that Mike hasn't done that he wants to do?
I mean, I've started a movie that wrote low budget, where I was the star of it, like, Repo with Master B. That's the only movie I think I really started where I'm in every scene, and I had a lot to do with the writing of it and even the casting of it. I would like to start in a movie or a little bit higher budget movie, maybe a $3-4 million movie that I potentially, co-executive produce myself.
Right.
I did the whole sitcom thing, and sometimes you look at other comics that did sitcoms, you're like, damn, can I do that? And then when Tyler Perry gave me a 4-episode Michael Blackson show, and I think it was probably the funniest and the best thing I've done. And I'm like, damn, why these people didn't give me this show 20 years ago? Because when I'm even doing it now, and I'm like, God, I was so good at it.
But
and
you know what, Mike? It wasn't the time. It wasn't the time. People always say, Donnell so-and-so. I was like, why this person here? I was like, it's just not the time. And it's so funny that
you got to wait on God's time. It's
going to happen when it's going to happen. And it's so fun. You're a Sagittarius, right?
Yeah.
We both similar signs. It's so funny you say that, because as much as we have accomplished on the stand-up side, and I was telling myself, what change do I want to do in 2025, or how I want people to see me? And Method Man had a quote I heard years ago. He said, I'm tired of being the chump in the front. I want to be the Mac in the back. And I guess it goes to what you're saying. Is possibility of Mike producing films, starring his own stuff, or putting some other people on? Is that possibility?
100%. Oh yeah, I'm big on that, man. I'm big. Even when I did Repo with Master P, I casted a movie. I brought bunch of people in, people that I thought was funny that would fit a certain role. Because I was like, hey P, okay, I think this person should play this person. I think this person should play that person. I think, if I'm not mistaken, the only one that P casted in that movie was Katt Williams. So he was cool with him. He called him up and had him in the movie. But
was that Cat? Was crack Cat or regular Cat? No, I'm fucking with you. Go ahead.
No, that was regular Cat. It was funny. Right. It was funny Cat. That was before the crack.
Right. Yo, you an asshole.
It was before the crack that I never saw him do. I never saw him do it. But right. It just when Cat went to that stage, where I'm sure you saw videos of him on stage doing weird things, right, and we all thought something was going on. Remember that?
Yeah, I do remember. I know exactly. It was news. Like, that's why when people bring it up, I'm like, you can't act like certain things didn't exist. But I know people are very sensitive. Like, I even said one time, I was like, yo, he was like, I ain't doing it. But yo, everything looked like this. Okay, whatever it was, this is not normal, and this is not the person that I know. It's definitely something off right now, And you wish everybody go through stuff, and you wish them the best,
Yep. I trust. At the end of the day, man, I love no more than comedians, man, because the grind. Like deep inside, I love Cat. I mean, I didn't like him trying, downplay my career and make me look like I'm shit, only because I accidentally called my crackhead.
You accidentally? No, but that motherfucker. I mean, you must have hit.
I love Cat, man. I know. I love him like a brother.
You must have hit it below the belt. But it is what it is, man. I just hope we get to the point, man. Like, I've had issues with people out here, and I was just starting. I was like, no more Mr. Nice Guy. I'm tired of apologizing for shit. I'm tired of motherfuckers trying to shade me, talk about I ain't nice, and I want to be like, fuck. I'm ready to challenge everybody, son. But then people say it's the high road and the low road. I'm a low road nigga. I love the low road. But certain case, I gotta take the high road, unfortunately. Yuck. Mike, I appreciate you, man. I've known you pretty much the entire part of my career. We came from the same coast, probably around the same era. And if I don't say it enough, man, I really appreciate what you've done for comedy, what you've done for your family. And then, sometimes you get on niggas' nerves, but, if you all look at it, Mike Blackson is a stand-up guy, literally and figuratively speaking. I appreciate you, brother.
Much love, mother sucker.
All right, nigga.
Peace out.
Well. I don't know when. Goddamn, that's the dark side. A lot of people don't know what people go through to stay in this business. One of the hardest things to do, people always tell me how you stay relevant. Mike Blackson, 30 plus years. I've seen him. I didn't know him coming from Africa, but I've seen him be the one comic, the one joke guy, the two joke guy, the guy you know in the neighborhood, to a TV star, to like call himself the African king of comedy. And that brand has done well for him. And more importantly, some of the things that he's chosen to do with his life, not just the funny side. Not just the funny side. Building a school in the same village that you grew up with, there's got to be something said to that. As much as I don't want to give two fucks, I guess after having a conversation with one of the legends in comedy that's been for a while, I guess I might have to go back and have one fuck. Till next time, it's the Donnell Rawlings Show. Fuck this nice shit.
Round here, if it smell funny, onions getting peeled. Round here, if it smell funny, get your onion peeled. Round here. You know this one thing I can't say. You know this one thing I can't say. You know this one thing I can't. You know this one thing I can't.